So, a lot has happened since we left, right? A lot has happened in news-wise. We've had the Game Awards. We've had...
the fucking Game Awards.
Yeah, we've had the Game Awards come out.
And those were just last month, weren't they? How was that just a month ago?
Those were a month ago. Exactly a month ago.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And during the Game Awards, a lot of controversy responding around the last
Mario got murdered by Sephiroth.
Yeah, Mario got murdered by Sephiroth. That was always a wonderful moment.
The best moment of that entire show.
Oh, 100%. 100% was just Sephiroth murdering Mario. That was the best part of the whole show. But yeah, what did you guys think about? Were you guys shocked by anything at the Game Awards? Anything take your eye when you were watching them? Any games that were announced that were alarming?
I was shocked Returnal had the balls to use the PT at the start of their trailer for being a PS4 game or PS5 game. That's a ballsy move. But no, everything was kind of exactly how I expected it to go. Which
I was once again just completely disappointed with the lack of Elden Ring news. That's all I care about these days. That's all I'm here for.
I was personally disappointed The Last of Us 1, not because I don't like the game or anything. I've never played it, just because they crunched the studio to shit. So I don't think that should be rewarded.
I don't mind them winning. I don't mind them winning Game of the Year. They should not have won Best Direction.
They absolutely should not have won Best Direction.
Any game that required crunch to win clearly was not well directed.
Yeah,
just call it as it is.
That's just Naughty Dog, They have best direction in terms of vision. The worst direction in terms of actually looking after their workers.
No,
and that's
100%.
pretty much how it goes.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 news. That's all I care about. I just want to know it's existence. I know it's in existence. Just show me a scene. That's it. That's all you didn't have to show me a trailer.
I have a feeling we'll hear about that either late this year or early next year. I don't know why. I have a feeling we're either going to get at E3 this year, we're going to get a little snippet being hey, it's in production. And then maybe something at the Game Awards or
the thing is,
Sony event.
With you making the game multiple parts, you cannot have 5 or 6 years between them. If you're gonna wait till E3 to show this, it better be coming out in the fall.
Valve disagrees, my friend. Valve disagrees.
No, but here's the thing. Valve is not the Square Enix fan base, okay? The Square Enix fan base, Final Fantasy fan base, will eat them alive if this game does not come out within the next year. And that's coming from someone in the fan base that interacts with someone every single day from the fan base. They will eat them alive if this game does not come out in 2022.
I mean, I expected to be fully out in 2022. Probably mid to late 2022, depending on how E3 goes and how COVID's affected things. That's my full expectation on that, to be honest. I expect we'll see 16 before part 2 of that. So
yeah, that's unfortunate.
My expectation.
If they both don't drop in the same year, because it's two different teams working on them, so it's completely theoretically possible for them to drop in the same year.
I don't think they'd drop the same year. I think they'd take the Resident Evil approach, where they do one and then another.
Yeah.
So there's RE2, RE3, and then RE8 is coming out. That's confusing to say, but RE8's coming out this year, and then apparently 4 remake the year after. But they're gonna stagger them so they don't interfere with each other's sales.
Yeah.
In theory,
that makes sense.
I reckon for Final Fantasy, what they'll do part 2 first, just so the fan base isn't up their arse, and then they'll do 16.
I reckon they might hold off on part 2 just so they can do something with the PS5 with it.
Maybe.
So when 16's a massive flop, they can release that and...
No, not that. It's I genuinely think what they're going to do is, because of all the PS5 issues right now, I reckon part 2 is going to be when they push hard on PS5 sales. because they've already
I
discontinued
think 16.
PS4
16
models.
16's got to be the one to push it. 16 Final Fantasy Part 2 is just a remake of is a re-envisioning of Final Fantasy 7. It is a new game, but it's a familiar game. Final Fantasy 16 is completely new. It's going to be a whole new 100+ hour experience, just like 15 and every other one named franchise was. If you're going to take one to push the PS5 technology, I would much rather them do that with 16 than Part 2. Because you can release Part 2 on PS4, PS5, and it's fine.
You say that, but the PS5 is the most successful console they've ever done. And that was built off of a remake of Demon's Souls and a remaster of Spider-Man, which is only 2 years old.
Right, but I still think you release Part 2 first. I think, if you're going to release 16 this year, which they haven't given us a release date for yet, but if you're going to release 16 this year, at the end of this year or beginning of next year, then you got to fully commit to the PS5 technology at that point. I think I would do what Kerr said. I would come out with Part 2 first, because the fan base, I think, is more anticipating that game than they are 16. And so I think releasing Part 2 first would
the only
make more
problem with
sense.
that, really, is that the only reason we know Part 2 is in development is from an interview in a Japanese magazine, whereas we've seen Final Fantasy 16. We've seen gameplay of Final Fantasy 16 within that trailer. It's like, out of the two that need to deliver, Part 2 is the one that needs to deliver. That's the one with all the expectations. So that's the one you should have more time with.
I wouldn't say that too much, because the 15 got shit on because it didn't meet our expectations. And so, it met mine, but it didn't meet everyone else's. So I think, Final Fantasy, it's going to have high expectations no matter what game it is. It's just how the fan base is. But I really think that I would much rather see Part 2 first, but I do agree with you. It's hard to say how long 16's been in development. 16 might have been in development for 5 years, as far as we know.
It's just by how it looked, it's definitely been a couple of years, because that's a lot that they showed.
Yeah.
And if it was early on, that's impressive. But
yeah. So,
I could definitely see that one coming first, just because we've heard and seen it.
Yeah.